Hello, Squirrel Tribe. So today we have more information coming out about Kamala Harris, but I want to show you guys first what is happening right now. This has been all over X, all over social media for the past few hours. I don't know if you guys have tried this, but they are trying to block it so that you cannot search for Donald Trump. You cannot search Donald Trump's assassination attempt. And if you search for Donald Trump instead, they're showing you, guess who? Kamala Harris. So Kyle Becker actually put this on X, and this has been shared through PragerU over on Instagram. It's been shared numerous places. Elon Musk even posted about it. But according to, you guys can see here, Kyle Becker, he has typed in Donald Trump to search, and instead it's pulling up Kamala Harris pieces. Now, this has been going on, like I said, for a few hours. I'm hoping they have it fixed because I personally just went to my Safari here on my iPad with the Care Bears. Don't mind those. I went to the Safari and I typed in Donald Trump, and as you can see, I can see Donald Trump here. Now, there is a Kamala Harris article somewhere in here, but most of the things here are Donald Trump related. However, when I type in Donald Trump assassination attempt, certain things are not being shown, like some of the newest information that's come out about maybe possibly two shooters, somebody in the building, maybe on the water tower. A lot of things are being suppressed, just like we talked about yesterday with the Olympics, the opening ceremony for the Paris 2024 Olympics, and the Olympics YouTube channel taking the opening ceremony down and trying to go after people who still have copies of it up and trying to copyright strike them all across all social media platforms, right? You have Axios and other news-related journalists going through and changing things they've written about Kamala Harris. And that's what we're going to talk about today because, like I've said over here with Squirrel Tribe, we bring receipts. I try to find everything I possibly can to either prove or disprove what is being said. And right now, the big thing that is being talked about is how Kamala Harris was never called the border czar. That's what everybody is talking about. Well, let me rephrase. That's what the left side is talking about. They're saying that border czar has never been used in conjunction with Kamala Harris's name and that it's all the right side trying to start some stuff and whatever else. They said it's never been mentioned in White House documents. So I went to the whitehouse.gov website to look it up. But first, let me show you. This was on NBC News. And now we know for a fact that NBC is very far left leaning. Yahoo posts a lot of NBC articles. There's a lot of different locations that are more left, more right, some that are neutral. I love the neutral ones. Those are the ones I try to find on a daily basis. But I also read everything from the left and everything from the right side when it comes to journalism and publications, because you have to pay attention to both sides. You cannot only focus on the side you like, you have to also focus on the side you don't like, because it's all the same. You guys told me how to do it. Two birds of a feather. Nope. Two feathers of a bird? That sounds so dumb, though. I feel like that's not right. Two birds of a feather sounds right, but that doesn't make any sense at all. Y'all know what I'm trying to say here. There are two different sides on the same thing, right? So you have to pay attention to what's going on left and right, and you need to pay attention to the middle because it all makes a whole. So I pulled up this article on NBC News, and it says, Trump zeroes in on border czar Harris attack as her campaign pushes back. The word attack there goes ahead and lets you know what side they are on. They're basically up Kamala Harris's butt at this point. It says Donald Trump is aggressively going after Kamala Harris on an issue at the center of his campaign, seizing on a misunderstood assignment from 2021 that gave rise to the term. Speaking of issue at the center of campaigns and seizing on misunderstood things, he's got 34 felonies. Bro, shut up with that. So this is Kamala Harris. In case anybody forgot what a sour lemon face looks like, that is Kamala Harris. So according to this, I'm not going to read you the whole shebang. I will put a link to every single thing I'm looking at today in the pinned comment if you guys want to check it out for yourselves. There's some juicy stuff in here. According to Trump, they're saying Trump labeled the vice president the border czar no fewer than 6 times in a fiery rally speech Wednesday in North Carolina, centering his criticism of her on the overwhelmed asylum system. Until border czar Harris, Under border czar Harris, illegal aliens are pouring in by the millions and millions and millions, Trump said, drawing jeers from the crowd as he called Harris crazy. And it's meant to sound like he's being basically a raging a-hole, and the people who are there with him are jeering, which sounds mean and aggressive and whatever. But literally nothing he said is false. They cannot say that anything he said was false, because under the Biden administration and under Kamala Harris's watchful eye, because she was given the task of securing the border, millions and millions and millions of illegal immigrants have come across the border. Nothing Donald Trump said was false, incorrect, a lie, misunderstanding, none of it. They just don't like the fact that he called her border czar. But there's a reason for it, and we'll get to that in just a second. So, it says here, the term, which Republicans have used widely to criticize Harris, traces back to March 2021, March 24th, 2021 to be exact, when Harris was charged with addressing the surge of Central American migrants who came mostly from the Northern Triangle countries, meaning El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras, where violence and organized crime have driven millions to flee the region. The terms czar and border czar did not appear in White House materials, but they caught on among critics, is what they're saying. Okay? Now, let me just be fully upfront with you, like we've said numerous times. I don't believe 99% of the stuff I read, because I know that they lie. They hope that what they say you will take for fact and run with it and not try to check anything on your own. The issue, yesterday's video, if you guys saw it, with the tweet by Kamala Harris about the Olympics. I took a screenshot for a reason. It's no longer on her X account, on Kamala Harris's X account. I have the screenshot because you have to take proof of things, because they're going through and trying to take everything away to be able to prove it didn't happen, because they deleted it, they erased it, they got rid of it. Here, they're trying to convince you that border czar was never said, that only the Republicans have said it in, how do they say that? That it caught on among critics, that it was never mentioned, but it caught on among critics. Well, here's the thing. It had to catch on among critics somewhere. It had to have been spoken somewhere, right? Right. And it might not be in White House documents, because, again, I'll pin everything to the pinned comment. I'll put everything in the pinned comment so you guys can read it. This March 24th, 2021 is when President Joe Biden decided to give Kamala Harris the task of securing our southern border. I'm going to read just a couple little lines out of here because it's a long thing. And the way Joe Biden talks and the way Kamala Harris talks, it makes my mind hurt trying to read it. And I don't want to sound stupid when I talk. It may happen sometimes anyway. It's not on purpose. This, though, word salad. So this is, the president said, blah, 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 blah. Let's see. I've asked her, the VP, today, because she's the most qualified person to do it, to lead our efforts with Mexico and the Northern Triangle, and the countries that are going to need help in stemming the movement of so many folks, stemming the migration to our southern border. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on here. He talks about how when he was vice president, they set aside $700 million of taxpayer dollars to send to this triangle group, this Northern Triangle group of countries, to help them so that their people didn't want to leave, to make it better there and prettier and nicer so they'd stay instead of coming here. But who knows what actually happened to that money, right? Because obviously it didn't work. Now, he says he's going to do that. What did he say? It's so stupid the way he says stuff. But I'm going to read her little section, and we're not pausing and we're not editing, so y'all just deal with me while I find this. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. He says, so this increase has been consequential, but the vice president has agreed, among the multiple other things that I have her leading, and I appreciate it, agreed to lead our diplomatic effort and work with those nations to accept the returnees and enhance migration enforcement at their borders. Enhance migration enforcement at their borders. Meaning, not trying to stop it at ours, only pay attention to theirs. That's what I heard from that, okay? I need y'all to understand that. Because that way, later on, they can say that Kamala Harris did her job. She wasn't in charge of our southern border. She was, for some reason, in charge of the borders of the Northern Triangle, which is effing stupid, right? Now, it says, I can't think of anybody who's better qualified to do this than this woman who ran the second largest attorney general's office in America after the U.S., after the United States Attorney General in the state of California, has done a great deal upholding human rights, but also fighting organized crime in the process. Okay, so then Kamala gets up and she does her thing where she says, gosh, there's so much here that's so stupid. We will collaborate with Mexico and other countries throughout the Western Hemisphere. And as part of this effort, we expect that we will have collaborative relationships to accomplish the goals the president has and that we share. She literally says absolutely nothing in her acceptance of this role to be the border czar, which is not the words they used here. They are right. NBC News was right. They did not say border czar in the White House, but they did say it in government filings. So for those of you who are not aware, this is dun, 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 HRES 253, expressing the sense of the House of Representatives that Vice President Kamala Harris should be removed from her position as the head of the Biden administration's strategy to address the root causes of migration. This was first put in, it looks like March 24th, 2023, where it does say, and I will point out here, this little line right here, again, I'm going to pin this in the put it in the pinned comment so you can see. It says, expressing the sense of the House of Representatives that Vice President Kamala Harris should be removed, blah, blah, blah. Whereas on March 24th, 2021, Vice President Kamala Harris was named border czar in charge of leading efforts to stem migration across the United States-Mexico border, which technically, according to what Biden said, is not what it was. It was to stop it at those three countries, their borders, not ours. But that's where they mention the word border czar. And then they talk about how many 4,500,000 migrants illegally crossed their southern border since January 2021. And this was in March of 2023. So in 2 years, 4.5 million people had crossed. There have been way more since then, okay? So this one, again, I'm going to pin. This is a government website. This is congress.gov. Well, but wait, there's more. Because then, dun, 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 according to July 25th, 2024, literally 4 days ago, this is HRES 1371. You guys see this here? Okay. Again, I have screenshots. I have everything. Chairman Green on passage of HRES 1371. Vice President Harris, not just a failed border czar, she is an extremist on border security. This says today, House Committee on Homeland Security Chairman Mark E. Green, a Republican from Tennessee, released the following statement after the House of Representatives passed HRES 1371, a resolution strongly condemning the failure of the Biden administration and border czar Kamala Harris to secure the United States border. And it reads, all right, and this is important for what we're going to get to next. Vice President Kamala Harris is not just a failed border czar. She is an extremist on border security and immigration enforcement, as her record as a senator, presidential candidate, and vice president makes abundantly clear. In March 2021, President Biden told the country that Vice President Harris was the most qualified person to lead our efforts in stemming the flood of illegal aliens across our southwest border. No rational person could look at the years since and conclude anything except that she was utterly unqualified and has completely failed. While Democrats and their allies in the media rush to excuse Vice President Harris's catastrophic failure to end the crisis she and President Biden created, Congress has shown with this resolution that we want the American people to know the truth. There's going to be a lot more coming out about the fact that Kamala Harris did literally nothing to stop the influx of people at our border, and instead did everything she could to give people reasons to cross our borders and into our country. Money, phones, credit cards, bus ticket, plane ticket, whatever, to whatever city they wanted to go to, clothing, housing, food. What are we giving our homeless people, men and women and children? What are we giving to domestic violence survivors? What are we giving to our veterans? What are we giving to wounded warriors? Like, there are so many things in our country for our citizens that's being overlooked because everything is going to people who do not deserve it by an administration who's doing nothing to stop the influx. And this is still a big deal. And I talked about it yesterday, and I said, we're not hearing anything about immigration anymore. They're trying to move away from that because people know that Vice President Kamala Harris failed in her duty to secure the southern border and maybe the northern triangle borders, but to stop the influx of people, whether it was secure the southern border or stop illegal immigration or immigration out of the northern triangle, she failed no matter how you look at it due to the influx of people. And not only that, they did even worse by giving them everything that they withhold from American citizens, okay? Now, here's where this is important. For those of you who have not been paying attention in Venezuela, it has been a complete catastrophe over there given their government. So they have a president who they loathe, who they can't stand, and they wanted somebody else in place. There is proof literal proof that the election in Venezuela was stolen, that the people voted for one person and instead the current sitting president somehow won again, even though they have gone to different polling places and they have looked at all the ballots that they have there. They looked at everything, and that person that won did not receive a single vote at these polling places. Somehow, though, in Venezuela, the person that they're saying is destroying the country, hurting the people, doing the worst, is somehow back in power, has won again. And Elon Musk even posted this. He said, I think the risk of this is very real. Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, posted on her X account, the United States stands with the people of Venezuela who expressed their voice in today's historic presidential election. The will of the Venezuelan people must be respected. Despite the many challenges, we will continue to work toward a more democratic, prosperous, and secure future for the people of Venezuela. Now, that is a very hard one to read and go, well, is she on the side of the people who feel like they have gotten completely bent over with, you know, not having their voice heard in this election and having it stolen from them? Or is she on the side of the person who won because, I don't know, maybe, you know, she plans on using the same tactics in order to possibly win a presidency for herself? Who knows? You never know. But when she says today's historic presidential election, I feel like she is technically against the people of Venezuela, and she is all for the person who won because that's who she plans on trying to talk to make whatever ties it is that she wants to make. That's how I'm looking at it. I'm not sure how you guys are going to look at it. But speaking of Elon Musk, even he put up, look, even Elon put up on his X account, wow, Google has a search ban on President Donald Trump, election interference. Which is exactly what happened in Venezuela, election interference. They had armed guards at some of the polling places so that people could not go in and vote. And here you have Kamala Harris saying that it was a historic presidential election and blah, 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 blah. It does not bode well for us here in the United States, my personal opinion on that. But Elon Musk, when we were talking about you couldn't search for Donald Trump earlier, that's what was happening. President Donald Duck, President Donald Reagan, like that's, what is this? Ronald Reagan? Is not Donald Reagan, okay? So I think maybe they have it fixed by now, but the fact of the matter is, without people being able to post things like this and it spread like wildfire, that Google, YouTube, Google, everybody like that was suppressing the ability to find out information or search things up relating to Donald Trump without being, you know, subjected to having Kamala Harris shoved down your throat. Without people being able to talk about it, this would still be going on. But because people are using their voice more and more, things like this are stopping faster and faster. They're able to like nip it in the bud, right? But listen, speaking of Elon Musk, y'all, remember, I'm sure you remember if you've seen the videos. If not, you should watch them later. Remember how I mentioned he started the America PAC? I think it was called America PAC, not Super PAC. America PAC. Super PAC? Y'all, I hate it when I can't remember specifically. I'm pretty sure it's America PAC, basically with a few of his cronies, right? And then pledged $45 million a month to Trump's campaign until November, basically totaling roughly $180 million, which was the largest donation to one campaign ever, okay? Remember, we talked about this. This happened a week or two ago. Talked about it. Elon Musk was all crickets with it and you know, great, hanging out with Donald Trump, liking Donald Trump, whatever. Then he backed out of it, saying it wasn't that much money and blah, blah, blah. Now, the timing of the back out, which we also talked about, just happened to coincide with the very first sighting of Biden after like a 10 or 11 day hiatus where nobody had seen him. At that point, Elon was like, ooh, let me backpedal just a smidge here. So he's like, no. I'm not donating $45 million a month to Trump. There's like going to be a little, like something like that. It's not going to be like a ginormous one. And it's not just for Trump. It's for like anybody who's on the side of freedom and whatever else. Like he really tried to backpedal. Elon Musk does a lot of good things and says a lot of things and gives freedom of speech, generally speaking, over on X. But there are still things where even he is shady. He's a billionaire. How do you think he got there? You got to be a little shady to become a billionaire, right? Well, here's the thing. This is why he is taking his money back and saying that he wasn't pledging that much. Because just 5 days ago, Elon Musk loses $16 billion in a day as Tesla stock sinks. In January, Musk loses $51 billion as Tesla stock sinks. This man has lost more money than the majority of us collectively, like all of us put together, will ever see in our lifetimes. He has lost so much money. He's still around 232 billion. Chump change, whatever. But this is after Tesla stock is tanked. And here's why Tesla stock tanked. Because people thought that Biden was gone, number one, that he was right? Then, because Elon backed Trump, we talked about this, it gives the impression that Tesla knows that it's coming to the end of its lifeline when it comes to electric vehicles. If Democrats are no longer in charge of everything, this Agenda 2030 is going to go right out the window. You've already got Ford and Stellantis and everybody else pulling back on the electric vehicles. You have Pete Buttigieg, who never put forth made the superchargers across the nation that was supposed to be done. They put like tons and tons of money. I don't remember, it's millions or $1 billion worth of money into getting these superchargers done. And they built like 7. They built like 7. All right. All that money. Who knows where that money went? But the writing is on the wall. The electric vehicles, if a Republican wins, are going to go out the window. And I do believe that that is why the stock is plummeting for Tesla. And that's not a good look for Elon. That does not help him. His Tesla stock plummeting will not help him with SpaceX. It won't help him with anything else he's trying to do. I mean, yay, he picked up and moved from California to Texas because of the woke crap that Gavin Newsom allows in California. But he still moved to the bluest spot of Texas, to Austin, Texas, to move SpaceX and X headquarters over there, right? So he's still technically in the one Democrat part of the Republican state, even though now he votes Republican according to him, and he technically was backing a Republican with a bunch of money. I feel like there's a lot of pandering and backpedaling and kissing both sides of the butt, depending on who he thinks will win, in order to keep his money up and about. Because, I mean, $16 billion, like just poof, gone. $51 billion, poof, gone. I don't care how rich you are, that has got to hurt. It's the same. You have $10 and 7 of it goes away, that hurts. You have $100 and 60 of it goes away, that hurts. You have billions and billions and billions and 16 goes away, whew, child, still hurts. It don't matter. Lost money hurts no matter who you are. Which is why I do believe that Elon Musk pulled back what he said he was going to donate to Donald Trump's campaign. And I do believe, this is me saying it, I do believe that before November comes, you're going to see he's pulled back even more money, and that most of what has gone into this America, I swear it's America PAC, is going to go to things that are not Donald Trump related. I feel like he may be teetering on the side of kissing more left butt cheek than right butt cheek at this point, because the push for Kamala Harris is so large and severe that he may see that as his winning ticket. And if he needs to get back into the good graces of the Biden administration, because you know Joe Biden didn't even mention Elon Musk and Tesla when it came to who he thought were the biggest players, the biggest opportunities for EVs. I think he mentioned GM. I'm pretty sure Joe Biden said GM, and I'm like, that feels highly inaccurate. But I'm glad it's, you know, a company here, but I'm still like, that doesn't feel right, but who knows? But I feel like Elon Musk is trying to wade the water on both sides, trying to figure out which one gives him a better chance of not drowning, right? That's how I feel about that. So there is so much that's going on in the news and everywhere else right now that it's absolutely ridiculous. Side note, I wanted to just point out, people are up in arms, and by people I mean the left side, are up in arms at the word border czar, like it's a bad thing. Let me tell you the definition of a czar, just so we're all fully aware. People think it's like a Russian thing. That's not really it. It is a person appointed by government to advise on and coordinate policy in a particular area. Kamala Harris is the border czar. Kamala Harris is the person appointed by government to advise on and coordinate policy in a particular area. It's not a bad word. It is literally what she is. Would she have liked it? Would they still be up in arms if they gave the whole definition instead of the word? They're like, well, Joe Biden appointed Kamala to advise on and coordinate policy in a particular area. No problem. But because they condensed it into the word czar, suddenly all hell is breaking loose. Absolutely stupid. And it means, when you call someone a czar, it means that it's somebody having power or authority, which is exactly what she did. Joe Biden gave her power and authority over our southern border. So where's the problem? Why are they trying to blow smoke up our ass and make it seem like what is happening and her being called a border czar is some new version of racist hate speech, whatever, when literally it's exactly what it is? Don't let them gaslight us. That's all it is. It is literally them trying to gaslight all the American people, except for, you know, the ones that are already batshit crazy over on their side. Make it make sense. That's my new slogan. Make it make sense, because The farther along we go, the more I'm like, this shit don't even make sense. These people are crazy. That's all. Squirrel Tribe. Love y'all immensely. Thanks for hanging out for this. I got so much more to bring out tomorrow. It's absolutely ridiculous. So put your seatbelts on because it's going to be a bumpy ride tomorrow. Okay? Love you. Bye.